Ladies, we're ready.
Good morning.
Congratulations, when are you due? Good day. Well, welcome to another episode of Good Day. I think it's going to be a good day. My name is Daniel Bennett, and it's going to be a good episode too. It's going to be a lot of fun. I do want to encourage you, again, if you haven't checked it out yet, to check out the little booklet that we're promoting here. You'll see it in just a moment. You can go to the link on the screen also to find out about the product and watch other shows and all that. I hope you're enjoying GTN. And if you have questions or comments, if you're watching this show on YouTube, if you leave comments or questions in the comments section, I'll also try to go through those, and sometimes I might even be able to do like a Q&A or anything like that. I might just gather a bunch of questions and have a segment where I just chat with the viewers also. So I encourage you to check that out. Also leave comments or questions in there when you're able to. But yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. So we have Carlie Terradez from Terradez Ministries today. So we'll have an interview with her in just a moment.
You know, life is tougher than an overcooked $2 steak. But keeping a good attitude, well, that just keeps it all in perspective. How to stay positive in a negative world. Log on to gooddayGTN.com to get your free copy today.
Well, welcome back. Our guest today is Carlie Terradez from Terradez Ministries. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and you were one of the few who were on the old version of the show, and we had
Yeah.
to scrap all those episodes. Even though the conversations were great, it's just the intro and outro and the branding and all that had to change, so we had to toss it all.
I'm privileged to be a guinea pig.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were a guinea pig. So yeah, because we did 2 full weeks worth and had to
Yeah,
scrap it
there was
all.
a lot of time wasted.
I know, yeah. So it was more on the crew. But thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
And again, you guys, so is it both of you have a show on GTN also?
Yeah, we do Abundant Life together, Ashley and I.
Awesome. That's exciting. How long have you guys been doing this show?
Oh my gosh. I want to say like 5 or 6 years now, I think.
Wow.
I'm getting older, you know, the years. Do you find that
yeah.
you're trying to remember what decade you're in?
Yeah, they fly by.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty wild. And I tell people, so you were my IG leader when I was in second.
Yeah.
And that's our interaction groups.
And look at you now.
Right? Yeah,
Look
you
how
did
you've
it. I think you
grown.
did a decent job.
Oh,
if you have any
good.
feedback after the show, let me know.
All right, I'll write you a report card.
Yeah, but you were fantastic. You and Ashley, you guys are awesome. And we love what you guys are doing. And you guys have been, you worked here for a long time.
Yeah, 10 years.
But yeah, now you guys have your own ministry and
Yeah.
staff and blessing lots of people. It's awesome.
It's a privilege.
Yeah. And we have a lot of you guys' books also.
Oh,
and
good.
So it's very
Do
exciting.
you have our kids' books?
We do.
Because
We do.
you got a bunch of kids.
Yeah. I've got number 4 on the way.
Come on, I
And
love
then,
that.
and you have 1 grandchild now?
Yeah, we're growing though.
Yeah.
There's multiplication happening.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild. Time flies.
Yeah.
Goes so fast. Yeah, I did the math recently and saw that for a 2-year-old, 1 week of their life is the equivalent of something like 8 weeks for an adult, for someone
Wow.
my age. So, because I was doing the math to kind of figure, like, if I leave on a trip for 1 week
Yeah,
for
it
my
feels
2-year-old.
like forever.
For them, it's like I left for 2 months.
Well, don't you remember when you were a kid and you felt like it was forever until Christmas came?
Yeah.
And it's like, when's Christmas going to be here? And
Yeah.
now you're an adult. It's like, it's Christmas again?
Yeah.
Really? We just had that.
Oh, it goes so fast. It's the percentage of your life is smaller and smaller.
This is true.
So, all right, so I have a few questions for you, and then we'll jump over to this game.
Okay, I'm curious as to what this is. So you're going to
Yeah.
explain the rules to me, right?
Okay, maybe I'll start with this one then.
Okay.
So these red ones are lighthearted questions, and the
Okay.
blue ones are deeper questions, and we'll just take turns asking each other.
All right, no trick questions.
Depends how confused
Can I
you
plead the
are.
fifth?
Plead the fifth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it's-
Yeah.
Is it going to incriminate
No,
me?
Well, these ones I try to make you cry,
Okay.
and these ones I try to
That
embarrass
one's probably
you.
not going to work. And I live with Ashley, so that's probably not going to work either.
Yeah, it's good. So I'll kick things off, then I'll get to some other questions. So, okay, and again, I blame Sarah for all these questions. I was supposed to go through and vet them.
You haven't
but,
read it either?
No.
Okay.
I read some of them and I was like, I'm sure it's fine. But if you could be any type of plant for a day, which one would you be and why?
Plant. Bean plant.
A bean plant?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're
Such a definite answer.
a bean
Like,
plant. Because we had a miracle with a bean plant in our family.
Right. Is this a Hannah and the Beanstalk?
It's a Hannah and
You
the
have a kid's
Beanstalk.
book story about, it's a true story, right?
It's a true story. So if you know anything about me, you know I have plastic plants because I'm not green-fingered, and if it doesn't make a noise in my house, it doesn't survive. So I have mercilessly sacrificed many a plant. But one day when Hannah was 3 years old, she came home from nursery school with this pot of mud with a bean seed in it, and she told our neighbour, who had been witnessing to, this is going to grow and we're going to have beans for dinner tomorrow. And, you know, at 3 years old, right, anything's possible. And this neighbour that we'd been witnessing to said, well, Hannah, if that bean plant grows and you have beans for dinner tomorrow, I'm going to have to believe in your Jesus.
Wow.
And so it's like, okay, that's it. Holy throwdown right there. So we go home. I know enough to not say anything. You know, sometimes the best thing you can say if you can't stand in faith is to say nothing at all. So I'm just like, Jesus and Hannah, this is you. But, you know, we went home. She put that mud cup with the swallowed up bean seed on the side and kept drowning it regularly until that seed is floating. You know how they overwater everything?
Right.
And I'm like, this is going to have to be miraculous. We go to bed, we come down in the morning. This thing is probably 12 inches grown up out of the cup overnight. So much so we had to put like a ruler in there and make like a little stake to stop it falling over. And we were like, wow, this is amazing. So we go out all day, go to school, go to pick Hannah up from nursery school, and she meets this lady, this neighbour lady that we've been witnessing to again. And Hannah tells her all about how this plant had grown and we're going to have beans for dinner tonight. And on the inside of me, I'm thinking, you know, that was miraculous. That's a 12-inch tool, but there's not a sign of a bean on there. I don't know in gardening terms how long it takes for a bean plant to get to the point where it's supposed to grow fruit or vegetables or whatever those things are. But I figured it probably wasn't just a matter of hours, right? And she's like, well, that's amazing. I'm going to have to come back to your house and see this for myself. And I'm like, so unspiritual. I'm like, I know the state I left my house in. You know, we were making breakfast and lunches and the kitchen's trashed and I haven't been home all day.
Right.
I'm like, please don't come back to my house. But sure enough, we all ended up traipsing back to the house, this whole entourage of kids. And we go in, and when we get in the house, this bean plant had grown up to the ceiling and across the ceiling.
Wow.
It looped. It was like one of those lowered suspended ceilings, and it was looping there, and there was beans hanging off of this thing.
Wow.
And we were all so shocked. This neighbor lady, I'm just calling her neighbor lady, her name was Maxine, but she fell backwards in the chair, landed in the chair in the little dinette thing there, and she gave her life to the Lord over a bean plant. So if I was going to be any plant, it would be a bean plant.
Yeah, that's good. That's powerful.
Yep.
That's
the only time I think I've ever grown anything.
Yeah. See, my wife, she likes plants, but she also kills them all the time.
I can.
And so
yeah.
I've always encouraged, like, let's get the fake ones.
Get the cactus.
But she got a tree, and I assumed, like, this won't last very long, just a little thing.
You were
she'll
not a man
try.
of faith in that moment, were you?
Well, I was like, I'm okay with this because it won't last very long. But instead, she's done fantastic with it.
Oh, wow.
And it's grown so tall that I was like, whenever we move, how do we
Wow.
get this tree out of our
It has
house?
to go with you.
And so it actually backfired where I was like, yeah, I have no problem, put a tree in there. And it's huge now where it's almost to the ceiling, pretty high ceiling where it is. And I was like, I don't even know what to do anymore. It's just taking over the living room.
It's a legend.
Yeah. So she's mastered one plant type.
That's it. Just
one more than me.
Hey, Same here. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what plant I would be. You had a great answer. That was a divine question right there, because I have no clue how I would answer that or anyone else. Do you want to pick one?
All right, I'm going to go with blue. Do I get to ask you a question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hope it's a difficult one. All right.
Difficult.
Yeah. What's a significant transformation you've undergone that has reshaped your worldview? This is a difficult one.
Yeah, let's see.
Do you like that question? Do you want to phone a friend?
Phone a friend?
Yeah, 50-50.
Or switch a different one? So the easy ones are marriage and kids. And so a major life transformation, though, I think part of it for me was when I turned 30.
Yeah, it's a big milestone.
And it wasn't so much 30. I mean, that was in its own way.
Was that like last week?
No. Yeah, thank you, though. It's all the makeup for the show. But when I realized, because basically when you turn 30, you're disqualified from certain things in the military. Where it's like certain things, it's a 29 and below and stuff like that. And even though I had no interest, I'd already been in the military, I wasn't going back to it. It just was a moment of realizing I can't go back in time. There's certain things that were options before.
You're not immortal.
Yeah. I was like, I had no interest in going, but I always knew I could if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And the moment I suddenly was too old to do it, even if I wanted to, it was a moment of, I won't be able to do everything in this lifetime that I want to do. And it was kind of this mortality. Yeah. I don't mean mortality as in death. I mean it more as like, you get one life and you choose it and you don't get to do everything.
Yep, absolutely.
So
I think that hit me when I turned 40. Mm-hmm. It was like, I realized, I could be halfway through my life, and there are things that God has told us to do, and just that sense like, we can't mess around with this. I believe I'm going to live for decades and decades, right? But I want to make sure I accomplish everything the Lord has for me. Yeah. And I think you do get to that point where you realize that you're not immortal, and that you got to get serious about it, get focused about it. There was a focus probably that came with that.
Yeah, I know for me it was big that I started shifting where I'd say, man, I'd love to do this, but I don't have enough time in this lifetime to do everything. Yeah. So you know what? I'll do that in heaven. And that sounds like fun some other day. Because I don't think that eternity is going to be boring. No. So it's like, I'll have plenty of fun, and I'll do that, and I'll do that, and do the other. But what do I need to get done now? Yeah. And how do I make the most of it? And not even just being busy all the time. Like there's things I want to accomplish, but also just the relationships I want to enjoy.
I love that perspective, though. I can do that in heaven. I love that.
Yeah. Well, that was me, and maybe someday I'll pick up writing music. But I used to really want to be a music composer. And I realized, you know what? I don't feel called to dedicate my life to that. Yeah. I'll create music in heaven. Yep. And right now there's other things I want to do. So just sometimes I just like, maybe I'll dabble in it someday in the future, but you can't do it all. Nope. I love that. Yeah, there's plenty to do. That's actually something that set me free, was when God gave me the revelation that no matter how long you live, this lifetime's too short to contain the fullness of who He made us to be. Well,
we are a slither. When you have an eternal perspective, what are you going to have, like 80, 90, 100 years on this planet? It's such a small amount of time that when we have that eternal perspective, it changes how we view our life here today. But then what are we going to do next? Yeah. We start to plan differently. We start to speak differently.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think it's becoming more popular. It's probably always been around, but the fear of missing out.
Yeah, FOMO.
Yeah, the FOMO thing, where it's, oh no, what if I miss out on that, or what if I never get to go on that trip or that vacation or visit that country or learn this skill? And you realize I can't, that can become a burden. Like dreams can become a burden if you go about them the wrong way.
It's true.
Yeah, awesome. That was a good one. And what was the question again?
That was, what's the significant transformation you've undergone that has reshaped your worldview?
Yeah, so what's your answer to that?
What's my answer to that? A significant transformation, honestly, just getting born again, I think, was the biggest transformation that changed how I viewed everything. And not just getting born again, but then getting filled with the Holy Spirit, having a revelation of grace. I felt like I was born again. I was born again when I was 17. I was filled with the Spirit when I was in my 20s, and didn't speak in tongues till I was probably close to, I think I was 28. And all of those things significantly changed me, marked me, I would say. And spending time in the Word. I know that's not really, you probably want one thing, right? But
whatever.
honestly, it's my relationship with the Lord and different stages of understanding who God is that has changed me. And I've realized, you know, age does too. As you get older, you know, I don't think the same way I thought when I was 18, 20.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more grace for people today than I did 15 years ago. Just because I think the more life that you live, the more that you need that grace for yourself. You have more compassion for people that have been through things. I think it's made me, life experience and time in the Word and time in the Lord has made me a more compassionate person. And things that we go through, you know, where there's been significant challenges, tragedies, health crisis, you know, things that you push through, all of those things kind of mark you and form you into who you are. So as far as my worldview, I think I just have more compassion on people because of that, and I'm a lot less judgmental, a lot less black and white with things. And I've traveled enough to know that the needs of people are the same the world over. You know, we're heading out to Africa on mission tomorrow, and you know, the needs of the people across the continent there are exactly the same. Humans have the same needs everywhere, essentially. And so I think you know, all of those things together have transformed me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know when you minister and people come up and talk to you afterwards, sometimes, you know, you might share something. I used to share kind of very lighthearted perspective, more from my own walk with God, but as people come up and share their own experiences and you hear about some of the challenges people have gone through and stuff like that, it does, the next time you teach on that, that's in your memory of like, oh, this situation, this person, their broken heart. And you just kind of, it does kind of make you more compassionate toward people, because you start to hear more and more things where it's not all fun and games. Some people have real challenges in this area or that area. And okay, is this really going to help that person, or only people who are doing great? You know, it softens the edges, I guess. Yeah,
makes you a more rounded individual.
Yeah, I think so. So let me ask you a couple questions about you. So what did you do for fun as a kid, or hobbies you had as a kid?
What did I do for fun as a kid? I was always quite active, so outdoorsy, active. I like to hike and be outside and that kind of thing. Not particularly musical. I mean, our kids are more musical than we are, honestly. But I loved animals. I like to be outside. I like to do those kind of things. And I was quite entrepreneurial. Like, I like to do arts and crafts and sell them. And I worked a lot. I was always working and had jobs from like 11 or 12. And so,
Are there any hobbies you had then that you still have now? Like any interests that you have?
I still love being outside. I still love, you know, nature and the outside, all that kind of stuff. I still love to travel, I love adventure. Anything that's adventure and new places and new cultures and meeting new people, I love that.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, would you have guessed when you were younger how much you'd travel now and see the world and meet people from different countries?
You know, I guess that was always in me. I remember when I was really young, I loved to look at maps, study maps and atlases and all those picture books that showed how things worked, you know, and different countries and things, and finding things on the globe. I loved geography and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that sense of adventure was in me.
Did you used to play the game where you spin the globe and put your finger and say, I'm going there someday?
Yeah, totally.
All the time.
I still need to get to Peru, right? It's on my list. I haven't got there yet.
I don't think I was so close to it because I was in Chile.
You were in South America?
I didn't really explore much of South America.
I want to go to Machu Picchu.
Cool.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I've been to multiple countries in Central America, but I regret it. If I could go back in time, I wish I'd visited more of the South American countries when I was in Chile. Yeah. So if you had $1 million, but you had to spend it on something entertainment or hobby or something like that, what would you spend it on?
If I was to spend it on something
nothing useful,
I would take trips. I would travel. That's what I do. I'd go on places and see the world.
Yeah.
Just because I love different cultures and the different foods and the smells, and I just love exploring the world. So that's exactly what I do. I'm not interested in buying gadgets and stuff and stuff.
It's good. I know years ago it hit me, you can't take things with you when you die.
Right.
But you get to go.
Yep.
And you can take people with you.
Yep.
So that became my two passions, is experiences that help me grow as a person and things that bless other people.
Yep.
because those are the two eternal things: is who I become
Yep.
and other people. And so, yeah, I love, like, I enjoy travel, but not so much because of the touristy stuff. I like to actually live there and get to know people and
be
meet people
absorbed in
from
it.
different culture. Yeah. So
And you've lived in a number of places.
yeah, and I just enjoy it. I just find that, like, yeah, sites and monuments, whatever, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But
There's only so many monuments you can see, right?
yeah,
It's
I
not
enjoy
really about that.
eating dinner with a family that
Yeah.
I've never met before and getting to know them and
Yeah.
joking around, and that's way more satisfying
Yeah.
to me. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's. I mean, I went to a country once, and I was planning on doing all this touristy stuff and traveling around, and I ended up just staying with this one family because they were just such cool people. I was like, yeah, let's hang out with you guys for a few weeks. That was more fun to me than the sights and all that.
Yeah.
All right, so if God asked you the same thing he asked Solomon, tell me, based my paraphrase, so I make one wish, whatever you'd like. And you can't say the same thing Solomon said, so you can't ask for wisdom or understanding. What would you ask for?
What would I ask the Lord for?
Because Andrew mentions this also, that
Yeah.
that God once asked him, and he said to be able to teach the word effectively.
Yeah.
And so-
That's a good question. I want to be able to hear God so clearly, like I can just walk right in that, and to see a greater move of His anointing in my life, probably through me, because like you're saying, you can't take it with you,
Yeah.
right? So I want to get to the end of my race and check into heaven and be like, okay, show me the bed. I'm exhausted. I've done everything. You know what I mean? I want to do it all. I want to do everything that God has for me. I don't want to miss out on anything. I want to accomplish it all. And nothing else in this life matters in the same way. So I want to do things for eternity, and I want to know that I'm the most effective for the Lord I can be. So
Yeah.
probably, you know, whenever we minister, whenever we go anywhere, it's like sometimes I feel like I could preach the ABCs and then people are still going to get healed just because it's all God, right?
Yeah.
It's all Him. It's nothing that I'm doing anyway. I can create the best sermon and it's all fruitless if the power of God doesn't flow through me.
Yeah.
So, but in order to get to that point, I think that just all comes from knowing Him and hearing the Holy Spirit. So when I stand up to minister, I'm only saying His words, and I'm speaking directly to the problem, and just to be able to hear Him that clearly.
Yeah.
You know, in everything I do.
Yeah, that's actually my mission statement, or my goal in life, is if I can hear God as clearly as possible and obey Him as completely as possible, He'll teach me everything else I need to know.
Exactly.
He'll take care of the rest.
Because when you've heard, I don't have a problem with obedience. And I think a lot of people are like that. Like they want to know the will of God, but they don't know if they've heard Him or not. And, you know, I mean, because ultimately if you hear God and you know it's God and you don't do it, then it's rebellion.
Yeah.
And I think most people aren't there. They're just unsure that they've heard God or not.
Yeah.
So hearing God is huge.
Yeah, that's huge. Something you said sparked a memory of, I used to want to die young. I wanted to live such an intense life for God that I wanted to just be like, let me just be like a John the Baptist, right? You live this amazing, passionate life for God, and then you go to heaven. And one day God showed me that was being selfish, because that was looking at it from my perspective and realizing God really put on my heart, the world needs people who are willing to live long lives.
Yeah.
Because we need more fathers and grandfathers and mothers and grandmothers of the faith. And if you care about others more than yourself, you won't say, I just want an exciting life and out of here. It's, are you willing to live the long life? It's more difficult, it takes more patience, it takes more faith. But are you willing to be continuously faithful for years and years and years to help future generations?
Yeah. The only place you can lay your life down is earth, right?
Yeah.
So that's you're being a living sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's things we can do in this lifetime that we can never do ever again in eternity.
Exactly.
Like, you can't live by faith. We'll be able to see.
You won't need faith in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't be able to make sacrifices.
Nope.
You know, there's so many things that we can only do in this lifetime.
We won't need to pray for the sick.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, all those things, all those spiritual gifts, like, they're for here and for now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we'll have so much fun then.
Yeah.
That it's kind of, I'm all for enjoying life now. I do think that enjoying life and showing people what abundant life can look like is part of how we draw people. It's like, hey, you want what I've got.
That's the goodness of God.
Yeah, it's the goodness of God that leads people to repentance. So I'm a big fan of that, but that's not the point, because we have forever for that.
Yeah.
There's certain things that we can only do right now.
Amen.
So I'll jump to one of these again.
All right then. Is this the easy one or the hard one?
These are the easy ones.
Okay.
Well, sometimes these are harder. Okay, so what's the funniest or most unexpected thing you found in a book or a magazine?
Oh.
So, see, that wasn't easy, was it?
I mostly just read the Bible. I mean,
A bug?
bug. You know, I do write things on napkins and like notes and stuff, and I leave them in places. And a little while ago, my Bible, I carry around a really big Bible, right? It's my 6-pound study Bible, and it's going everywhere with me.
Wow.
But it means that it's like a filing cabinet. So there's all kinds of things in there. So I'd written out on I think we were at a restaurant or something, Ashton and I, right at the beginning, before we even started our ministry. And it was just a paper napkin in the restaurant. And so we wrote on it like all our dreams, our goals, our vision, everything we had. And I put it in there. And, you know, it got flattened because it was just a paper napkin and the weight of the pages pressing together. And I found it the other day and I was going through, it's on my desk, and all of those things that were on there like 5 years ago, they're all checked off now.
That's awesome.
And I just thought, actually, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I kept it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I remember once I found an old piece of paper from high school, because I traveled a lot too, so I have like one Foot Locker with memories in it. And that's it. Like this is what this is what survived the decades of travel. These are my memories right there. And I found an old piece, like an old paper, where I said, someday I might do this, someday I might do that, someday I might do that. And I went through and I was like, oh, I did it. I didn't realize it. It's pretty wild to be like, how did I?
I do have a funny story though. I remember now, like there was one time I was at school, at high school, and do you remember when you were kids and before we had camera phones, and we actually had to have and then they had the Polaroid, not the Polaroid, the wind-up disposable cameras, and they were like, we used to have to take them and develop them, right?
Yeah.
So I was just going around the house. I got this new camera, and I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, and I was snapping pictures randomly, and I caught a picture of my dad in a kind of compromising position that he wasn't flattering, but I wouldn't tell you what it was, but it wasn't flattering, right? And I got the photos developed, and I thought this was really funny. And somehow it ended up in my composition book, and I handed it in with my homework. And then the teacher brought it out at parents' evening and said to my dad, I think this is yours. I got in so much trouble.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, my kids.
So that was a pretty interesting thing to find out. You got to watch your kids with the homework.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah. Just yesterday, my wife showed me. She's like, look, one of our kids, had got a hold of her camera. That's what I was trying to say. And she had like 50 photos of them just like snapping photos of the floor and the wall and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I guess this is why there's no memory on my phone right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're out of time. But thank you so much for doing this. And so Terradez.com or TerradezMinistries.com?
Terradez.com.
Terradez.com.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have that on the screen also.
Awesome.
But yeah, I love what you guys do. And I'm partnered with you guys. I recommend it. And so you can partner with them. You can be part of their ministry, find their resources and all that. And so I encourage you to check out their show on GTN also, but just checking out their website and all their resources. But thanks so much for joining. Yeah. And don't forget, today is going to be a good day, and we'll see you next time.